If your school record attendance or attendance performance is crucial in student evaluation or in student performance evaluation, then this tutorial is for you. We're going to show you how to record attendance based on the attendance system that was set for different classes. We're going to start by ensuring that we are in the right school level. In this case, now we're dealing with nursery. After that, we pick the class to work with. We're going to use nursery 1B. After picking the class, the system will load the appropriate attendance system that was set in the settings that should be used. In this case here, there were two of them that were set. One was for class timesheet and one was for subject. From this naming, we can derive that it's an attendance system that was set to be used by class teacher or class educators to record student attendance in the class, and this was set for subject teachers or subject educators to use in recording student attendance during a particular subject. So let's pick one and start recording. We pick the nursery class timesheet, but before we start, please take note these names were named for this purpose. These are not features or these are not concrete names. These names are descriptive. In this tutorial, we had to choose this name for this purpose. In your own attendance grading system, you can pick your own name, but ensure that the names are descriptive enough for the educators to work with. So we pick this first one. When we pick this first one, based on the setting, it was said that the attendance system should work with dates, meaning that any educator that should record attendance for this class using this nursery class timesheet attendance system will be recording the attendance on a daily basis based on a particular date. So in this case, let's start recording. Let's start with the current date, 28, and load. If there were some existing records on this platform, you will see the combined attendance performance here. We'll see the number of those that were present in terms of performance: present here, absent here, punctual here. But in this case now it's totally blank. From the top here, you can access the sorting order. Currently it's being sorted according to the names in an ascending order. We also have a means of sorting it based on the marks. In this case, since there are no records, their marks are simply 0. So trying to sort by marks in descending order would not work. So we're going to leave it here. And there is the save button here. On the right hand side, this tells you how many records are here. So far it's 2 because we have 2 students here. Then we have the button to delete this record and also a search filter to filter the record by names. Below it, you can see the session, you can see the term, you can see the class, you can also see the attendance system name. We have 2 students, 1 educator. So as a class teacher or as a class educator, I can start recording this attendance on this date. So for today, we're going to assume that we're all present. So we're going to mark all of them at once by using this button here. If we're all absent, we'll use this one. If they're all late, we'll use this one. If we're not sure, we can leave it at not sure. So, but let's assume they're all present. So you can see here, the system record that they're all present. That means attendance is 100%, present rate is 100%, punctuality is 100%. So if we leave it here, we can simply go ahead and save. So it's saved now. Let's record a different date, but this time we're going to go backward. So on this day, let's also assume that they were all present, and we still save this record. Let's also go to 26, load, and let's assume they were both absent, but the last person was present. So that means one person was absent, one was present, and you can see it here that absent is showing 1. So I'm going to save again. Let's still pick a different date. Let's pick 22, load. This time I'm going to say that they were both present, but the first student was late. Once we pick late, you can see that punctuality reduced from 100% to 98.7 because this student is late. Another information you would observe here is that on the column that says previous 7 days attendance, you can see the records that we've entered so far, even though not up to 7, would be shown here. So the previous 7 days. So far we had only 3. You can track the attendance for the previous 7 days. Like he was absent here, present here and here, present here and here, and here. So if this is day, so we're going to save this again. So let's attempt to load one more. So far you can see here that the previous 7 days is 4. So far they have 4 records, and the first student here had been late for once. This one here has a very clean record. Let's assume this person did not make it today and leave it there. You can also hover or click on the names of the student to see their individual attendance performance. For instance, for this Nathaniel student, out of 5 days of attendance, he was present 4, he was absent today. That's why you can see 4 over 5. But in terms of punctuality, he was punctual in all the days he was present. That is why it is 100%. This below gives you data report of the student so far. It's a date record, so that's why you can see on this different date, you can see the markings shown here. And this record was meant to be done by class teachers or class educators. That's why you can see the class here. You can also check out for favor. Favor, out of 4, you can see here he was present like 3 times, and you can see the dates record showing favor was present here, here, but absent here, and late here. You can see the punctuality rate has reduced drastically to 66.7. And since this is a class record, so that's why you can see class here. So that's that for how to record using class and date entry. Let's see a different example in this case here. We're going to go straight to the second one, the nursery subject timesheet. I'm sure this one was set up for subject teachers. And when I picked it, this other last field was disabled, then the third field was enabled. So what it says here is that this attendance timesheet was set to deal with subjects, and it was said to be a one-time entry. A one-time entry kind of attendance simply says that you don't have to record the attendance on a date level. You can pick a day and record everything at once. That's just one time. So most schools, they might want to do it towards the end of the term or when they're trying to compute the grades, so they can just come up with a bunch of numbers based on the number of times this person appeared in school, because probably they had an offline record of this attendance. So let's see how this works. So let's pick a subject, assuming I'm an English teacher or an English educator. I'm simply going to pick English language and load here. So in loading here, we can see here that in English so far, I've not recorded any attendance for my student. And since this is a one-time record and say we are towards the end of term, I can simply come here and say, okay, in my classes, let's assume I had 10 classes for nursery 1B. So I'm going to assume that the students were all present and assume that out of these 10, favor was absent 1 and was late once. So I'm going to reduce this to be 8. So for Nathaniel, let's assume he was present 9, but it was late for once. As you can see, 9 plus 1 here is 10. So 8 plus 1 plus 1 gives you 10. So the number must tally to tell you the number of days for the attendance. So as you can see, their performances are different in terms of punctuality. Favor is 88.9, whereas Nathaniel is 90. If we switch to view in terms of marking, in descending, you can see Nathaniel came first because the mark is still higher in terms of punctuality here, whereas favor is a little bit low. So let's take it back. Assuming this is it and we're done, we can simply click save. So for a one-time record, it's very fast, but for the record, it will take you time to execute. You can also hover your mouse and click on the student name. For a one-time record, you can see the attendance 9 times out of 10, punctuality 88.9 for the student. As you can see, these are one-time records, so there are no dates. So for present times, he was present 8 here, absent 1, late once. For this other student here, he was present 10 times out of 10 days, but he was late in one of them. That's why the punctuality is 90 here. For his one-time record, he was present 9 times, he was late 1 time. So that is it in recording attendance using nersapp.